Phantasmal Flames will be one of the biggest Pokemon sets ever made. It will change the game completely.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TCG Table podcast. My name is Alan Lee, aka Pokemon Hero, and we are here with another great episode for you today. Today, my guest, you might have seen him on social media. I certainly see him all the time. He always brings the best TCG news update, and he's always staying ahead of the TCG market and delivering great news, whether it is card moving up and down, anything you should be paying attention on, basically. So, without further ado, my guest today is TwoGunz, Dakota. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Good. All right. Well, finally got you on the podcast.
Finally here.
Yeah, I know. Like, it took a little bit of coordination, but we made it work, and you drove all the way, and it's pretty far.
Happy
so I
to be
appreciate
here.
it. Yeah, cool. The drive was good?
Yeah, the drive wasn't too bad. It's pretty easy. Happy to be here. Excited to do this.
All right. Well, guys, let's get right into it. First question, as usual, I would ask normally how we met. But, little plot twist, we don't really know each other that much.
Not really.
So this is the first time we're actually getting to know each other. Now, I will, try to like recall the memory I have interacting with you. I think it's actually just over social media.
Yeah.
Ever since I launched the podcast, I think you were just like, hey, great job. And I'm like, hey, man, thanks for the support, humble little me over here. So, and it means a lot, by the way, coming from somebody who, has been doing the social media thing. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I feel like I'm heading in the right direction. So, and I was like, man, you know what? It'll be cool to have you on, kind of talk to some of the social media strategies and some of that stuff. So here we are. What's your thought? Do you remember any other interaction we have?
I think the first time, I think when you vend, you meet so many people. And I think the first time I heard of you was when everything happened with your daughter and, that whole scandal, right?
Infamous.
That infamous scandal. Obviously, having a daughter,
yeah,
I'm, sensitive to those kind of things. I wouldn't want that to happen to my daughter, any kid in general, but especially, I think fathers with our daughters were super protective.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we just we'd see each other here or there. We do all of these shows. Southern California is a big area, but it's small, and Pokemon community is huge, but also small.
Yeah. And
I think when you have positive interactions with people, you kind of gravitate to each other. And then when I saw you guys doing the podcast, my social media, it's fun, and my videos are actually pretty easy to make, but you appreciate that stuff more when people put work into it. On top of vending and all the other things we do, being a parent.
Yeah.
So when I saw you guys doing this, I was like, hey, it's really good. It's really good content. I watched the one with, Mr. Moss, and all of a sudden 2 hours go by. You're sitting on your couch watching this on your phone. And so, I like when I get compliments. So, hey, good job, Get you up the algorithm a little bit.
I appreciate that. So, yeah, man, the infamous incident is how I'm known now, almost, So, no, hopefully that's, leave a positive memory in everybody's mind. But yeah, cool. Well, I actually, again, getting to know each other for the next hour. So I think my first question for you is, what does your TCG name TwoGunz stands for? I know you tell me it's going to be a funny story, so I'm hearing this live for the first time. Tell me all about it.
So the name TwoGunz I've had since I was a baby. And what's funny is about a year and a half ago, we were talking before the podcast that we both train Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
So about a year and a half ago, before I broke my neck, I was training, we were doing takedowns, and I did a double leg on a guy, and as he was falling, he was holding my triceps, and he was like, "Oh, this is why they call you TwoGunz." And I laughed, and I was like, "That's not why," but I'm not telling you here. And so the origin of the TwoGunz name. So when I was a baby, I'm fortunate that my family's very young. I got to know my great grandparents. They were alive pretty much until middle school.
Wow.
So I got to know them and spend time with them and have a lot of memories. Well, I guess when I was a little baby, my great grandma was changing me and everybody was there, you know, new baby, whatever. And I guess I attacked her with both of my guns. And my great grandpa was like, oh, he's got two guns. And it just stuck. That's been my name ever since.
Wow.
And nobody really knows the origin of it. It's kind of a gross story, I guess. But that's kind of how I got the name. And I wrestled under it. And it kind of just been a family childhood nickname. And so when I started my business and my social media, it's kind of just a natural thing. It's the only nickname I've really ever had. So
That's actually pretty awesome. No, I like that. Well, first of all, like I found out just now that we both train jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the TwoGunz story, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I like that. Cool. Well, let's dive deeper, you know. What got you into Pokemon in the first place? Love to learn. You mentioned that, you know, you have jiu-jitsu, you have a family.
Yeah.
How do you find time, man? Like, and what draws you into Pokemon?
So me first getting into Pokemon is kind of the traditional, you know, when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
I grew up in San Diego and I remember living on, you know, the Navy base and all the kids in the backyards would have Pokemon cards. And back, you know, being a 90s kid, it was Power Rangers and Pokemon. You know what I mean? Those were the things. If you were a little kid, especially a boy, you know, it was Power Rangers, Pokemon, maybe a little bit of Barney, you know? So Pokemon was huge. And I remember, like, still to this day, like, I remember memories of pulling my first base set Charizard and, you know, the 5-year-old girl I liked at the time, she pulled the Blastoise. And there's just a lot of memories of Pokemon. And even as I got older, I've always played the Pokemon games. I always kind of stayed in Pokemon. It's just something I really enjoy. So pretty much all the games I continued to play. TCG, I kind of got out of it around middle school. You know, you start meeting girls and you don't really want to collect Pokemon cards anymore.
Was not cool until recently, okay, guys? Now everybody wants to be a vendor, you know?
Yeah. But let's fast forward. I'm now, you know, a father, and my daughter, I think, was like 2 years old. This is like 2019, you know, right before COVID. You know, I started buying her packs here or there. Oh, I like Pokemon. And, you know, she would see the stuffed animals at Target and gravitate towards them. And so I started buying her cards, and all of a sudden now dad's ripping packs on his own. You know what I mean? So really kind of my daughter got me back into it. I think similar to you.
Yeah. I'm just living my dream to her. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
And as we go through COVID, you know, still kind of buying packs here or there. I had a friend that now we're like 2021. He ran and operated a card shop local to me. And someone I grew up with, you know, I have a real kind of close knit group of friends. And he was like, hey, like, you should be buying this, buying that, doing this, doing that. And then fast forward maybe a few months after that, we went to a Collecticon. And I was like blown away. It was like the craziest thing. We made like a boys trip out of it. It was a ton of fun. And I was just blown away. One, how the event was set up, because there's so much at a Collecticon. It's not just cards. And I knew I wanted to vend right away. So I spent like the next 2.5 years building an inventory, buying things here or there. I knew, you know, a goal was I wanted to start a business. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. You know, I've worked since I was 15 years old. And you're always working for someone else. And the goal, you know, live the American dream, and kind of living that through Pokemon. I've always had side things I've done. You know, investing and other things while working and having a family. So I spent 2 years building an inventory, and in February, I had my first show, and pretty much have done shows every weekend since then, and kind of living the dream. Yeah.
Nice. February. So what was your first show?
OC Card Show.
Oh, okay.
OC Card Show.
Was that the one? Which hotel was that?
I forget which hotel it was. It was the one where it was kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
And all the rows were very close together.
Oh,
so all of those vendors were very upset. I was in the back, and I was super happy with my location. Yeah. So people would come to me to like escape the breathe of air, escape the madness. And it was a lot of fun. It was a huge risk when you start a business, whether it's, you know, Pokemon or whatever the business is, you're taking a risk, right? You're investing capital into something and you hope it works out. And, my girlfriend, she doesn't know a ton about Pokemon, but she was really supportive and, go chase your dreams. I believe in you. But it was really cool after that first show. I remember the first sale I did was a Poncho Luigi. It was the first sale I did, and I paid nothing for that card. I actually won it on Clover on their whatnot. It was like a $70 pull game. And I think I did 2 spots. I think for $140, I won a Luigi. And it was the first sale I ever did. It was over $4,000. And
you're just like, but this is easy. I can do this all day, guys.
Well, the look on her face was just like, wow, okay, this is crazy. Like, it can really be something. And it's not about, for me, it's not about the money, right?
Yeah.
I don't do things for money. Obviously, the money makes the world go around. You need it to support your family, things like that. But especially Pokemon's not how I survive.
Yeah.
And that's part of why I've been successful, because I can reinvest everything back into Pokemon. But it is cool to see things pay off. You know what I mean? So that's how I got into it.
Nice.
And it's been fun ever since.
Yeah. So is Pokemon vending your full-time side job?
It's something I do full time, but it doesn't pay my bills. All the money goes back into Pokemon.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, similarly for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
But now Pokemon vending is almost becoming a full-time job in addition to my full-time job, right?
Yeah.
It's chaotic.
There's a lot that goes into it, and I think us vendors appreciate one another because there's a lot that goes into it if you want to do it right.
Yeah.
Right? Anything in life you can kind of, half do it, but if you really want to be successful and you want to have a good experience, especially in this market, you're pricing things every week, right? You can't just go into one show to another pricing everything. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not the hardest job in the world. There's obviously many other things that are much harder. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Then walk me through it. You start to do your show in February. Fast forward until when did you decide like, hey, I'm gonna start posting on social media. I'm knowledgeable enough, or at least to give my own opinion on the market, right? Because I don't remember seeing a lot of your video until I want to say about 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear that story because I think, I've asked a lot of guests now a lot of different questions about vending, but I think you're the first person I'm asking about kind of the social media strategy. So walk me through that process and what happened. When did you decide like I'm just gonna post video with?
So it's funny, when I knew I wanted to start a business, one of the things that terrified me was social media. I was not a social media guy. Like, my personal social media page was for pictures of my kid and my animals. Or fantasy football.
Yeah.
Making sure I stay up to date with that. I didn't use social media. I wasn't a huge fan of it. But I knew, and I had the, I guess foresight is the word, that you had to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm actually a pretty introverted person. People see me at shows and things like that. And when you get to know me, I can kind of be fun and exciting, but I'm actually really introverted. And so the thought of being on camera, even for this, like, terrifies me. It goes all the way back to like wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Like, before tournaments, like, I would like throw up because you're in front of all these people. Like, you start to panic. And so I knew I needed to like conquer that fear. And I started making videos kind of right away. I think my first video was in January or February, and I just did them every day. There's one guy in particular, not to name drop, but his name's Alex Ketchum. He does those famous videos of minding my own business at a card shop, right?
Yep.
But his thing is he posts every single day. And so although I don't do that, the weekends are kind of hard, with vending and things like that. I try to live by that of I'm going to post every day during the weekdays. And, it's hard too with like coming up with content, right?
Yeah.
Thankfully, this market's so crazy. There's things every single day that you can talk about, but
I don't know, man, still, because despite that, like, I do a lot of content now myself, and I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like blanking out. I'm like, man, everything I want to talk about, I already talked about. Like when do I read? You know what I mean? Like, I go to that like writer's block, I suppose, right? But like continue. Sorry.
So to help with that, I'm a big night owl. So a lot of my ideas come at like 2-3 in the morning, and I just think of, all right, this will be a cool video.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if people are gonna like it. You know, my content's not for everyone. Some people don't like the whole market talk. You shouldn't be talking about how much a card is worth. But part of why I started making videos about that was, all right, vendor POVs are huge. Mm-hmm. You have all these big guys doing vendor POVs. I'm not going to be able to compete with them day one. I have no, like, I'm a small brand. I have no name, no reputation. Mm-hmm. Why is someone going to watch me when they can watch, you know, this huge guy, big name, right? So how can I be different? So I started thinking about, what do I like? Well, I like math, kind of a nerd. I like analytics. I like knowing how things work, why things go up, why they go down. And I felt like the space of marketing, like the, you know, what the market is, everyone talks about it. Yeah. You go to a show, everyone's talking about, oh, the market's crazy. Well, why is it crazy? So I thought, you know, that was, you know, not a lot of competitors. There's really just one huge competitor in that space. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to make videos about this and let's see how it goes. And then, you know, from here or there, I'll make videos about other things related to Pokemon, you know, video games or news. But is really just the mindset of posting as much as I can, counting uploads, not likes.
Yeah. So okay. I am very interested in that area because, like, again, obviously my time is so limited. And now with the podcast and I'm editing myself, hey, shout out to any potential editor out there. I could use their help. DM me, hit me up, please save me. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to keep doing that. Like, not that I don't enjoy it, but man, it's time consuming. I literally, as of this recording yesterday night, I edited the entire video of the last episode, posted it, did the short clip, just all in one day, right?
This is crazy. That's
crazy.
And
this is like with a full-time job. So I come home, finish, put everyone to bed, then I go to work. So talk about night out.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep till like 6 a.m. in the morning and then woke up at 8 to go to work.
That's insane.
And I'm here, I am filming this, right?
I appreciate you having me.
No, of course. Like, I'm trying to stay ahead of, and I'm also trying to stay consistent with long form videos, right? So I try to hold myself to releasing one podcast once a week.
Yeah.
But I'm also already started to think like, well, how many do I want to just continuously do week after week after week without breaks? What kind of, like, would people get bored of this format, right? How do I change up? There's so many things that goes on in my head.
There's a lot of things to it. So as far as my Instagram videos, so what my goal was with my social media was the Instagram videos take way less work.
Yeah.
It takes me probably 30 minutes, obviously come up with the idea. But as far as setting up the equipment, filming the video, it takes me 30 minutes.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. But my goal was to create an audience from Instagram and then take them to the long form content. That was more my goal. Well, how can it, because like I said, the vendor POV, I mean, everyone's doing vendor POVs now, right? Like, I'm just going to fall through the algorithm. How can I, you know, be different? So I'm going to create an audience on Instagram and TikTok, and then take that audience over to YouTube and then focus on that. Because I don't have a lot of long form content.
Yeah.
I have a few vendor POVs over on my YouTube channel, TwoGunzCards. But not a ton. It hasn't been my like major focus. I have like 6 months worth of footage just sitting in the archives.
Every show I do, I'm like, oh, this is great.
But I think a part of social media that people could utilize more, if let's say 1 week you don't have time to film the long form, is utilizing the shorts, creating more shorts, keeping the audience, you know, entertained and keeping them within reach while utilizing shorts. All right, well, we didn't film a podcast this week. Here's 5 shorts, right?
Yeah.
I think shorts are super underrated and not tapped into enough by people that do social media.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's very fascinating to me. Then with that mentality, right? Like you said something about taking people from the short form, i.e. Instagram, TikTok, bridging them to the long form, which is ultimately YouTube. Have you found success? Like, what's your self-analysis where you are from the start of your journey to now? And then more importantly, I think, like, you know, based on that analysis, what's your goal for the remaining of the year, let's say?
Yeah, I've seen some success. I didn't really tap into YouTube until recently. And so my success is much different. It's not like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, but I went from like 20 to 400 within a couple weeks, like 2 weeks. Because it was much easier, now that I have somewhat of a following. I want to be humble here. It's not crazy, right?
Patting yourself on the back there, guys.
but it makes it easier, right? It makes it easier where, people enjoy my Instagram videos, so they're more inclined to, all right, let's go look at the YouTube. But I've taken a lot of advice from people. 60-second videos are easier to be digested. So that's why I try to make my long form really entertaining.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep them for that whole 20 minutes. And I've used my long form to play. Like my first video was like 30 minutes or like 20 minutes, something like that. And then it was 10 and then it was 9, trying to find what keeps the viewer entertained.
Okay.
And my goals for the rest of the year is just posting daily. My biggest goal that I sought, for 2025 was by the end of 2025 having 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Okay.
And we're kind of more than halfway there. So that's probably my number one goal.
That's awesome.
To achieve, and then really branch out and really put more focus onto the long form content.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I am still trying to also just grind through the algorithm, right?
Yeah.
I think before the podcast, I was able to focus more on like my own self brand. But ever since I started the podcast, it's like everything was just taking the long form, cut it down to short form, post this, and I can only get up to 2 a week before, again, this brutal schedule kicks in, right?
Yeah.
I'm always like, I feel like at least one day in a week, I'm like a full day behind, So I'm still trying to like get to a better state where I can focus on my own again.
Yeah.
But the positive thing, and ladies and gentlemen, right? Like this is kind of the lesson here. If you are starting out or you're like, well, how can I become more like well-known or whatever the goal is you want to be as a vendor, utilize social media, right? And start posting, and those different platforms cross-pollinate. Yeah. I was able to use the podcast and not intentionally, but just people following the podcast, and now they're like, well, who's the guy with the nice big forehead, talking every week, let me go check him out. And then I'm organically getting followers on both ends, right? So yeah, it's just consistently creating content. Don't really think about like, oh, I have to hit this number.
Yeah, it's not about that.
Yeah, it's just like stay head down, grind through it, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. I'm making some traction.
And I think it's a huge opportunity for other vendors. It's social media, whether you're a fan of it or you're not, it's massive. And what it's become in our lifetime is insane. You have 8-year-old kids with cell phones and Instagram account. Like there was nothing like that when we were kids. So it's insane though, because even for me, I have a very small audience, not a big one of these big YouTube guys. And there's people, when I look at my analytics, that see my videos from the UK.
Yeah.
And that's so crazy to me. Like, wow, little old me, like someone in the UK, like a different country is watching my Instagram video. That's like really cool. So I think with vendors, it's a huge opportunity to get your brand out there. You don't have to do it every day. Everyone has different lives, full-time jobs, parents. Not everyone can balance. Just start. If you want to be different, there's so many vendors nowadays.
Yeah.
You have to separate yourself and have a brand like, who are you and what are you about? What are your goals, right?
100%.
So,
yeah. But spoiler alert, guys. It was me who used a VPN to UK to watch his videos, so we had some content.
No. The view counted, so I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's actually crazy because I just share my appreciation to everyone who's watching and listening, right? Like ever since I started, this is now episode 7, and that's 7 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
That's it. I started 7 weeks ago. It's not like anything crazy, and I have done shows now where, or even just like hanging out in some of the shows, people were like, hey, I know you. like, man, I'm a big fan. I'm like, man, I'm so thankful for the support. Genuinely, right? Like, I would spend the time to talk to people, to try to listen, like, hey, what do you want me to improve about the podcast? I take in all feedback, just to try to help grow the channel, because ultimately, like, I realize that, like, there is an audience who likes this content.
Sure.
And as long as I stick to what they like and modify it to their liking, right, I will continue to be able to kind of do this, which is like the fun part. So
I think it's important to listen to your audience too. And it's really cool. It makes the interactions, like it shows, way more chill because they've seen your face. They feel like they know you a little bit. It makes it much more relaxed to go up and talk to someone, even if you've never met them before. And it's really cool too. You meet people. I mean, there's people on the East Coast that I've never met, and I would consider them like friends. There are other vendors, and there's like these two brothers in New Jersey. Shout out to the Ditto's Den. They always share my content. They're super great guys, and we talk like almost every day. And we've never met each other, but we just met each other through social media. And I think I started following them first, and it's really cool. It's really, I do appreciate, all the likes, even like the constructive feedback, because how can I make it better? Because I always want to improve myself. And if a video didn't, hit the way I wanted to, okay, well, how can I make it better? What does the audience want? So I think it's really important to listen to your audience, and you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. Now, last question before we jump to the next segment here, right? I'm curious to see what are some potential like negative stuff that you have experienced doing content. Obviously, again, introvert. I myself not like a guru, on the internet.
Yeah.
What are some of the maybe like less positive things that you find doing social media, that you can share?
I mean, you're going to have negative comments. You're going to have hate. I mean, like I told you before we started, I've had death threats. I mean, I've had
That's so crazy, guys. Don't make death threats, man. If you are, grow up, get some, talk about my forehead. I don't really care. I'll just erase your comment because it has nothing to do with the show. But you know what I mean? Like,
so, because I'm cool. The thing about me too, and people that know me, even being introverted, and sometimes people view it as arrogance. It's not. I'm just a very confident individual. I know who I am, and I don't really care what people think of me, especially someone on the internet. I could care. I appreciate feedback, but if it's negative and it's not constructive, I could care less what you have to say. I know who I am. I know what my goals are. And most of the people that are bullies or trolls or whatever you want to call them, they're people that will never take risk. They're jealous of people that put themselves out there, take risks, and you don't have to be a fan of the content. But if you don't, it's kind of the golden rule. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything.
Exactly, guys.
So it's made me much more aware of when, there's videos I see all the time. It's funny. I saw one today, and it was like someone similar to the videos. Make this a little spicy. It was someone that does similar videos to me, but had the collector app in their background.
Yeah.
Doesn't tag them, doesn't give them credit. I was a writer, so I'm big on plagiarism. So that stuff really bothers me, but I don't leave a comment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I really wanted to like tag collector and be like, hey, this is how you cite your source, but you don't do it. You just
everything on the internet, there's an evidence trail against you, right?
Don't create negativity. You know what I mean? You just ignore that stuff. So as far as like my negative, unless it's like crazy racism or a death threat or something that's like attacking someone else that was positive, like one of my followers, they're attacking them, I leave the comments. I don't care if it's negative. It doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? It just makes them look silly. So as long as it's not super crazy, I leave all my comments up there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You just have to ignore it. You have to have, if you're going to do social media, my advice to people that want to get into the space and they want to make videos, be secure with yourself, know who you are, and you got to have thick skin. You cannot let people over a keyboard or a phone bother you or discouraging you from hitting your goals.
Yeah, 100%.
They have nothing to do with your life. They live thousands of miles away. You know who you are. You know your goals. You know what you want to achieve. You need to push through that and just ignore it.
Yeah.
That's not, you're never going to see that person. It means nothing. That's not who you are. Someone says you have a big forehead. People say I have a huge head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is true. I do have
exactly.
I do have a big head.
I'm like, you're right. And
so that's some of the negatives of social media. When I first started, I was kind of insecure. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't sure how videos were going to be perceived. And then when you get the positive feedback, you're like, oh, this is working. People like this. And so something I try to do is when people share my content, I reply to every single person. I try to. I might miss one or two, but everyone that reposts my videos on Instagram, I send them like the little, emoji saying thank you. And
the Jesus hand.
Yeah, I send them a message. And there's a lot of people, we talk about the negatives. There's positives. So I've met so many amazing people through social media. I was telling you about the guys from Jersey. Yeah. I met other vendors. You saw my videos. I saw your podcast. That's kind of how we've connected now.
Exactly.
There's a lot of positives that can come through social media. You just have to ignore the negatives.
Nice. Yeah. No, I love that. And something, maybe I was just born. I'm just an old man, right? I was born in '83. Yeah. Like we didn't have social media, and I grew up like throughout my entire life, just like having to like deal with real life bullies. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, if people leave comments like that's negative on them, I'm like, that's great. And what? You know what I mean? Like, you don't affect me,
I think, not to harp on that, I think we're just a different breed. We were just tough. We're, in the backyard getting beat up. You know what I mean? I grew up with a real close group of friends. We were mean to each other all the time. It made us tougher. You know what I mean? So someone on the internet, I could care less what they have to say.
Yeah. And that's actually, like not to like, spawn off a topic, but like, I feel like that's something like Jiu Jitsu done for both of us, right? Like it just creates that confidence. Yeah. Because you are literally fighting another human being, wrestling another human being on a daily.
I think anyone that, not to get super, I know they want the TCG stuff, but I think wrestling and jiu-jitsu, it's definitely changed my life. And I can tell with you too. And even in my life now, my daughter's done it. There's so many pieces of martial arts that my life touches. Yeah. And it makes you so much more of a humble person because you're literally fighting for your life. And there's always someone bigger, badder, meaner. So, like, especially, careful guys, if you walk into a bar and they got messed up ears, don't mess with them. You know what I mean? So it makes you just much more humble. And, jiu-jitsu gyms are families. Yeah. You know what I mean? And have each other's back. So. Yeah,
for sure, man. We got to roll. Yeah,
we got to do it.
My preview, my next guest also does jiu-jitsu. So stay tuned for that, guys.
We got all roll.
Yeah. All right. Getting back to the TCG stuff. Next segment, I love to talk about the market. You mentioned earlier, right? Like, not to talk about the market. That's why I named my podcast the hottest and the most controversial, right?
For sure.
I love talking about it. Because guess what? We've been right so far. and it's great. It is great that this is like recorded and not live. So nobody can say like, oh, you're pumping the market. I'm like, you know what? If I were to pump, you wouldn't even know it, right? Like it's already happened like week after week and you're just watching it unfold, right? So with that said, let's just anchor everybody on where we are, the state of the union here, right?
Yeah.
August, we had Pokemon World Championship. We also had West Coast Car Show right after, and then Collector Expos and Front Row San Diego happened on the same weekend. We just wrapped that up. It was it's just chaos. I personally basically lived in the Anaheim Convention Center for the whole month, and just for parking for those many days, I feel like I pay rent.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like $30 a day.
Yeah, it's insane. I counted. I was like, ended up with like $300. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Insane.
But World Championship, biggest thing that came up was the announcement. Inferno X in US, also known as Phantasmal Flame. Yeah. I think is the name.
It's a tongue twister.
It is. I'm thinking like Disney, Mickey Mouse, Fantasia, exactly. But that was announced, and I think as of this recording, Pokemon Center was supposed to drop today, and a whole ton of drama on that,
Crazy,
right?
yeah.
I would love to get your thought on it, like this crazy month.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, where are we heading now? Because that set, even just whatever is on the cover, seems to get people going bananas already. So do your whole live, Instagram post here. Talk about it, man.
TwoGunz here. Phantasmal Flames will be one of the biggest Pokemon sets ever made. It will change the game completely. It's one of the smallest Pokemon sets. I think they said there's 94 cards besides the illustration rare. I think there's 5 special illustration rares and 13 illustration rares. So I think it's like around 120 something cards.
Yeah.
One of the smallest sets ever made. But it features 2 of the biggest Pokemon to ever exist, Gengar and Charizard. Mega Gengar, Mega Charizard. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be let's tell them what happened today. So Pokemon Center was supposed to drop today, but 40,000 something units were pre-bought by the botters. So it made the people at the Pokemon Center headquarters were probably scrambling. People were freaking out. Coffee was probably being spilled everywhere. So maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Though, I'd probably put them really behind.
Yeah.
But it just shows how crazy. This is going to be one of the craziest sets ever made. I think Destined Rivals was huge. I think this is potential to be bigger than Destined Rivals.
I feel like Destined Rival is such a letdown, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? I love Destined Rivals.
I think so. Because in Japan, obviously, you get to see all the sets before US release.
Of course.
And I've said this multiple times. Heatwave Arena, which is half of Destined Rival,
For sure.
felt like it was the extra stuff they couldn't fit into Journeys together.
Okay.
And then they're like, I guess we'll just throw in the Destined Rival because it's like a very sharp divider in terms of like Ethan, Cynthia, all the like happy, I mean, for Christ's sake, you have Misty, Psyduck in Destined Rival. Like that does not belong together, right? So I just felt like they mashed 2 things together and just shot it out because they literally was like, we ran out of time and we had to throw some sort of things out there.
I will say this. I think the Heatwave Arena part of Destined Rivals is more of my favorite.
Yeah.
The Glory of Team Rocket is somewhat of a letdown. I think the Ethan's Ho-Ho and the Misty Psyduck are way better cards than the Team Rocket's Mewtwo.
Yeah.
The Team Rocket's Mewtwo is literally just a different background of the Pokemon Go Mewtwo. So I really like Destined Rivals, and just for the sheer fact that it's Team Rocket as a long-term hold, I think it's going to be successful. There's more they could have done with it. But as far as the last few sets we've had, they've all been. Journey Together was, not everyone's favorite, but there's some cool cards in there. But every set they're doing is just, people are waiting for the market to crash, this bubble to burst. There's no way with this. This Mega Gengar, Mega Charizard is going to be massive if they do it right. And because being a small set, you got to hit on the illustration rares. Mm-hmm. They got to be big. They got, like, for how small it is, like, you have to have really nice artwork. So we'll see. Yeah.
Just to rewind back, man. Don't sleep on Journeys Together, guys. Let me tell you a crazy story. That Well-Lord card in Journeys Together, the one that's like vertical, it's like $100 around it, right?
It's going
like PSA
insane.
10, right? Every single time I have that card in a PSA 10, it gets sold. Okay, like might not be a lot right now because again, I'm not selling over market.
Yeah.
But that card, despite it being only $100-some card, it's sold, man. And I'm just like, I keep buying. I see them, I'll grab it because I know it will go to somebody because this is a beautiful art.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people that like people sleep on that card. It's a Well-Lord card, right? It's a cheap PSA 10 under like almost at $100. You don't really, you know what I mean?
I think it's pushing $200 right now.
Is it really?
I think it might be. I think I saw something on Instagram. It's definitely probably the most popular of that set right now.
Yeah.
People love that card, so it's not a horrible set. It's just not my favorite.
Yeah,
we all have our favorites.
For sure. But yeah, I think that card has potentials to eventually be the top card of the set, just like how the Magic card is for Paldean.
Oh yeah.
Evolve, right? It's very similar play.
Card's insane.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it has opportunity, in my opinion.
For sure.
Let the market pump. No, I'm just kidding. No, don't do that, guys.
Here comes the crazy comments.
Yeah, whatever. I take it.
He's trying to pump Will Lord.
Yeah, right. Sure, because that's what needs to go to the moon, right? But I do think that going back to what you said earlier, people keep saying the market is going to crash, and I come in to the TCG hobby hearing this since day one, right? Because we've gone through ups and downs of wave, and I'm not saying that it would not eventually quote unquote crash, as in like it dies down a little bit and normalize. But now, like something I've heard or like I analyzed recently that completely made me change my mind, right? Which is Pokemon cards is what NFT in the pandemic was supposed to become. It's a physical art asset that's a commodity that has a common value. So now it's cool to invest into Pokemon.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, when now casual investors are actually investing in this as a vehicle to make money,
For sure.
I think we're just in a complete different game than we were before, where even during the pandemic, when Logan Paul was opening, all of that stuff, that was purely like, it was kind of like a nerdy thing in a niche corner that people are like, this is cool, but we stay in this little corner, right? But now the mainstream coverage that you're getting and an investor with real money are pumping into this, I don't think it will eventually go away. Like, right? You know what I mean? That's I don't see it.
It's a crazy thing. It's one thing to have Logan Paul involved because he's relatively kind of our age,
Yeah.
But when you have the Kevin O'Learys of the world buying, I think he's really into sports card, not so much Pokemon. Gary Vee, these guys, these billionaires investing millions of their dollars into sports cards, Pokemon cards as assets. Yeah, I mean that's a huge different game changer when it comes to a market. I don't think the market is going to crash like this dramatic thing. I think people will slowly come and go. One thing that worries me with the market we're in now is, you have people that have families, rent, mortgages. Cards are getting so expensive. Yeah. That's where I think it's not necessarily going to crash. It's just people are going to be like, I can't afford it. I hear a lot of people saying, I just can't afford to buy. One, you can't find it anywhere. Yeah. It's not in any store still. Can't go to Target, can't go to Walmart, can't go to GameStop. There's no Pokemon cards. Literally, if you want Pokemon cards, you come to a card show.
And you pay double.
So that makes it kind of hard, and it's just getting really expensive. I mean, there's cards that are doubling overnight. I mean, look at the 151 Charizard. That card in January, I have a funny story about that. So at Front Row Card Show, Las Vegas, I bought that card for $600. Part of it was trade. In March, I sold it at Collecticon LA for $1,000. That's a huge, even in 3 months, that is a huge jump. That's insane. Yeah. From 6 to 1,000 in less than 90 days. And then it went down. Yep. $700, right? Yeah. And now it had a sale of $1,600.
Was it? Yeah, I saw 12 last.
There's multiple 12s. There was one auction. It was an auction of $1,600. That's insane. So I think when it comes to a market, I don't know how much it's going to crash. I think people should be careful
100%
of what they buy, not just customers, vendors. See a lot of vendors like buying things, like I'm very cautious of what I buy in this market. Yeah. You know what I mean? You want to be very careful. So it's crazy though. Pokemon is bigger than it's ever been. It's the biggest media in the world. Franchise in the 100%. World. Yeah, they're it's never gonna go away. They're just gonna keep changing the game. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
Yeah, I honestly like. I know there's like two camps of the world, right? The regular families who's like, man, this sucks. I need this to normalize. Yeah. I need this to, so I can afford to enjoy whatever. Mm-hmm. I get that. But then there's also the other side. I'm like, man, like the sheer amount of attention that it is getting. Yeah. And we so fortunate to be able to ride this wave at this time, it makes me feel blessed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want this roller coaster ride to stop.
No,
right? As
no,
crazy
it's
as it is,
crazy.
right? Like I'm like, okay, part of me is like, yeah, even I can afford some of these, and we're talking about tens and thousands of dollars, right? But at the same time, like, if I can just normalize this, I'm okay, right?
Yeah, that's one thing. When I hear, especially vendors, they complain like, oh, I'm tired, this, that. Dude, on the weekends, we're playing with Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
We are making money selling Pokemon cards. We get to meet so many amazing people. I'll tell you a story from my first show. There was a family who had a little boy, and it was his first show, first introduction to Pokemon. And they're like, let's give him, what's a cool card? Like, what's a cool Pokemon? Like, what do you like? Favorite Pokemon's Gengar. So I gave him a Gengar card. 3 months later, I think it was actually Front Row Pasadena. A couple of months later, I saw them at Front Row Pasadena. They came by. Dude, he's got a Gengar plushie. He's got a Gengar shirt. So, like, that was probably my coolest vending story ever.
Yeah.
Being able to pass that on, and now that's his favorite Pokemon. We're really very fortunate, very blessed that there's so much attention in the hobby right now, and so many, it's like accepted. 10, 15 years ago, it was not popular.
6 months ago.
If you were telling your girl you're on a date with, oh, I buy Pokemon cards. I'm a Pokemon vendor. That's not the most appealing thing in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
But everyone's in. And what's cool about Pokemon is men, women, children, older, younger, everyone gets it. Everyone knows who this guy is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Everyone knows Pikachu. Pikachu is huge, right? So Pokemon is huge. So it's really cool. It's a fun wave. It's been a blast, and just keep riding it.
Yeah, like I talked about it in last couple of episodes ago, right? Like algorithm kicks in.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing like these beautiful ladies, like shout out to, the beautiful ladies that I mentioned in the last few episodes. But yeah, even they are having like dedicated accounts on Instagram, just opening Pokemon cards. And I'm like, wow, we literally are living in a different world now, right?
It is a different world. I mean, I think it started with like video games too, was not the most appealing thing. And then all of a sudden streaming, Twitch was huge. And then you had all walks. One time I saw like an 80-year-old grandma playing video games. I was like, whoa, this is so crazy, cool. Right? So now you have all walks of life in Pokemon, and it's what's hot right now. It's one of the hottest things in the market. Trading cards, collectibles, they're huge. We were talking about NFTs. Yeah, it's insane. It's an insane ride, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So with that said, like, what you mentioned that you're very skeptical about what you pick up, what you don't pick up. What are some of the trends that you do pick up, and what are your selection process?
So one thing I'm not picking up, which will probably make one of the people that have been on your podcast upset. I don't touch gold stars.
You don't make me upset.
I don't touch gold. Here's the thing. I think that's a trend that's come and gone. Mm-hmm. I think we missed the boat on that.
I agree.
It's, you look at the people that have a lot of golds. They've been doing it a while. You can't see that. There's a lot of mistakes that vendors make is they'll see, oh, gold stars, and they go spend thousands of dollars on it. And then those people, look, we're seeing it with ponchos. They're not moving as much. I think ponchos are still really cool.
Yeah,
I like gold stars. I don't want to like hate on them. I like the sets they come out of. I like the cards. Generation 1 is always going to be my favorite, but Generation 3 is probably my second favorite. So the Mudkip, the Torchic, those are all awesome cards as far as artwork and the Pokemon on them. But as far as me putting my business money into it, I don't touch them.
Yeah.
I've had opportunities too, and some opportunities I probably should have. They were probably good deals, but I don't know enough about them as far as a market to invest tens of thousands of dollars in them. And I think it's just a wave that's kind of come and gone. So I avoid them. So that's one major thing I avoid.
No. It's totally fair. You guys know already. I've been saying it since day one on this podcast, right? Like personal feelings, right? I don't like gold stars, right? They to me, honestly, they look like, I'll probably beat it to death here, right? Getting death threats here, maybe. But they look like you just take this one Pokemon card, left that out in the sun for a little too long, and now the color's faded, and they're just like, okay, cool, right? And now it's like tens and thousands of dollars, cool, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of it. And I've always said, every time I do have Gold Star that comes into my inventory, I'm strategically looking to move it before any volatility kicks in.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of the things that trends I listen to people.
Yeah.
I am very small in this game. So when I have interactions with people, even if we're just talking, I'm listening. I'm trying to learn, these people that have millions of followers, they've been in the game a long time. What are they looking at? What are they doing? And not necessarily trying to follow them, but take little pieces from that. I still to this day buy what I like.
Always.
If I'm going to spend $2,000 on a card, right? If I'm stuck with this card and it never sells, can I look at it? Do I like it? I bought a Giratina card from Ancient Origins. That card's going insane right now.
Oh.
I bought that card. I paid $2,000 for it. It's since dropped a little bit, but I really like that card, so I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm stuck with it, I'm stuck with it. But I like that card. Charizards, I like Charizard. Gengars, you want to, now as a business owner, you want to cater to your customers and have cards for all walks of life, right? We were talking about that before the podcast. Have cards that are affordable. I have a binder. So maybe this person can't afford a $500 slab. There's nothing wrong with that. There's stuff in the binder that they can look at and fill their master sets. So, I try to pay attention to what sells really well for me too. So things I replenish, the legendary dogs from Crown Zenith, super liquid. Probably the most liquid card that I can get. They move every single time.
Okay, now I know who to come to because I'm the opposite. I keep saying that. I can't sell those things for the life of me.
Oh, when I do my story sales on Instagram, I put all three up. Now they've actually gone up. I think they're like over $400 now. But for a while they were like this, one of them was like $120.
Yeah, it used to be like $300 a set.
The
like,
Suicune
come
was like
on,
$120.
right?
The Entei and Raikou were like $100 each.
Yeah.
So I would put them up $300, gone instantly.
Interesting.
Every single time.
Yeah.
So I would buy them. Those are ones I'd buy 90% because I know I can sell it at sticker.
Yeah.
They just moved really easy. So things like that. Some cards that I think are going to be big are the Shinings. I don't think the Shining cards, Shiny Rayquaza, Shiny Raichu, those sets, I don't think they've hit their full potential yet. But, tag teams have kind of come and gone, and I think megas are going to pop again. Certain ones, like Mega Gengars and Mega Charizards. If you have Mega Gengars, or if you have Charizards or Mega... Charizards in general right now are insane. Have you noticed the market on Charizard?
Yes.
It's like Charizard season. It's absolutely
crazy.
Insane.
It's like...
All of them.
I woke up one day and all of a sudden, you don't even know it, and then it's just invisibly penetrated the market, and like all the charts are gone up. Like, oh wow, I just made the connection, and it's already too late. You know what I mean?
I checked the prices on my PSA 8 base set Zard. $1,000.
Jeez.
2 sales at $1,000. It's crazy. So that's why I was saying be careful. That card when I started vending was like $500. That's $1,000. That's less than a year. 100%. So things like that.
Yeah, you know what I think on the topic of haven't popped yet, right? Don't say I'm pumping this. Hopefully it goes up before this episode comes out. But no financial advice, guys.
Yeah, no financial advice.
Yeah, do it at your own risk.
Yeah.
But Delta species.
Yeah.
I think people hasn't paid attention to them.
I'm surprised Delta species didn't blow up when Garchomp was like master setting them.
Or decided to sell it, right?
Yeah, decided to sell it.
Great. Let a natural inclination. I don't need to pump it.
Not that he pumps it, nothing like that. But I was really surprised. I think those are awesome cards, and I wouldn't be surprised.
And actually, like, that's the other thing I've noticed once I start doing this podcast, right? Like, I think a lot of people think like, oh, these big guys are doing these videos just to pump their own card. I'm like, man, have you looked at my schedule? Like, the thing that I say out of my mouth now, I say it because it's true. It's already happening.
Yeah.
Right? I've been talking about that bubble Mew for 6, 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Right. At first, people all looked at me, even vendors looked at me like I was crazy.
You're crazy.
Right. And then all of a sudden, they looked at me like, oh, my bad. You know what I mean?
That's me with the Lugia.
Yeah.
When I started making videos, well, Lugia is one of my favorite Pokemon, but people would say it's too high pop. That's like the number one thing when I would make videos about Lugia Altart. And you know what I would do? I'd look at that card.
Yep.
45,000 PSA 10s. Don't tell me about pop count. Look at
No.
Moonbreon.
100%.
Last weekend sold for $4,000. It's like 18,000. Don't tell me about pop count.
You know, buying Wimbledon is like buying Microsoft stock. It's totally safe.
It's a safe. It's like Evolving Skies. It's kind of as safe as it gets.
It might not be the most exotic,
Yeah.
but it'll get you it'll get the job done.
Get the job done. So Lugia, I was one that I just knew because it was so cheap compared to the Moonbreon, the Rayquaza, the big sword and shield hits.
Yeah.
So that was one that I was big on forever, and people told me I was crazy. Now it's like $1,200.
Like, I don't know if you guys picked up this over the last few episodes, but I came to a similar conclusion, right? I've noticed all the guests that even I talk to as vendors. I'm like, hey, walk me through your origin story.
Yeah.
And I don't recall, but I kept hearing, oh, I got back into the Pokemon, hobby because I pulled a Lugia. Like,
Okay, yeah.
and I'm like, wait a minute. One day it just hit me. I'm like, wow, a lot of people's memory is tied to Silver Tempest
Yeah.
and the Lugia. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah. So it explains like the high pop count.
It's still a slept on set. Still not trying to pump. It's not what
Not
I'm doing.
anymore.
Yeah.
You can't pump it. It's like 435 now a
Yeah.
box.
It's just gonna keep going up.
Yeah.
So it's a really Silver Temp. Now the thing about the criticism it gets is there's not a Lugia's it. There's some cool cards. The Reggie Drago card in Silver Tempest is a cool artwork card. It's not the most popular Pokemon in the world. And I think that Unknown is super slept on. You want to talk about a slept on card? Is the Unknown V from Silver Tempest. Because our generation, the third movie, with Entei, it was all about Unknown. That's kind of like we were all still kids really into Pokemon. Unknown is huge. So
Yeah. Well, it does have the Rayquaza trainer gallery.
yeah,
too.
the trainer gallery.
And people love that card.
Yeah, people love that card.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad set.
It's not a bad set. People think every set is going to have banger after banger after banger after banger. Like, it's not always going to be that way.
Yeah.
Not every set is Evolving Skies.
That is a whole different set altogether, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool. So we come to the last segment here. It's time for product showcase. Show me what you got, my friend.
What I got. So I actually have two of them, but this is the Battle Festa Pikachu. This one in particular is from 2014. Speaking of Mega Gengar is on the card. So it was what attracted to me to it. Pikachu, Mega Gengar in general. And the story about these cards is, one, they're exclusive. So these are from the Festa tournaments in Japan that ran from 2013 to 2017. And Festa is kind of a term in Japan, like we have collect-a-con. So it was a tournament that people that attended or participated would get these cards, and they had it from 2013 to 2017. And then in 2014, they started giving cards like this out. And so obviously everyone knows about the 2016 Festa. That's like, what, $15,000 in a PSA
and the
10.
2017 one, which is the cheapest one.
Cheapest one still.
Quote unquote, guys, for those who's
expensive.
listening.
But this is, my favorite. Again, this card's like $4,000, but it's something that I like looking at. So if I hang on to it, I'm okay having it. Has two of my favorite Pokemon on there. And so it's kind of my prized possessions.
Nice. Yeah, no, I think those are awesome. And somebody once told me that those are the cards that you get if you cannot afford a poncho. So I
think they're cooler than ponchos.
Yeah.
You can't show me one poncho. So I'm a big fan of the Mario and Luigi.
Me too.
Those are my favorite ponchos. But you can't show me one poncho that is cooler than this card. In my opinion, that's what's cool about Pokemon is we all have different opinions.
Yeah.
But I think the Festa cards are way cooler than Ponchos, and I think why everyone's going and buying Ponchos, that's cool. I'll be buying these.
My favorite one is actually the 2017 one with the Lunala.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the art on that was just
They're all really
cool.
awesome artwork.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Japanese cards too in general compared to, what we get in English. If you're just a collector, right? If just a collector standpoint, the artwork in Japan is so superior to English. You know those big giant, what is it? The Pokemon Ultimate Collection or what? It's that big giant black box. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep,
It's like
I know
250.
exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
The one that featured the Pikachu card that's in Crown Zenith. That's like
No, the one
right?
that has like all the cards in it has like that giant.
Oh,
flame
okay. No,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
The
Okay.
one in Japan is so much better than English.
yeah.
The cards that come out of it, the artwork of them, like the way it shines, is so superior to the English
Got
one.
you. Yeah. Okay.
Very
I know what
cool.
you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yep. I was thinking that collector box with just
Oh
one
no, not
card.
that one. No, the big giant.
Yeah.
The trading card game one.
That's right. That's the one. But yeah, the American was like
Yeah.
not that great.
Yeah.
It's just a big box. But okay, cool. Well, for me, this is a fun one, guys.
The coolest card. It's the
Yeah.
coolest. It's so much better than the Festa.
Yes. So this card, the Pikachu McDonald promo, the most recent one.
Most recent.
The one that ended up on all the news in Japan where everybody was like dumping McDonald's
Yeah.
outside Japan and going crazy on it.
How
Yep.
you have that already in a PSA 10 is crazy.
Don't ask questions, man. I can't pump if you ask questions. But yes, through the grapevine, this is what, 2 weeks since release,
Yeah.
right?
If that, 3 weeks at the most.
Yeah,
Maybe.
let's just say 3 weeks to give it a buffer, right?
Yeah.
I have a copy of a PSA 10 Pikachu McDonald promo card, and it is phenomenal. I just like having it.
amazing.
It's not even that expensive, thank God. But
I'm going to ask you what I ask everyone. What is he drinking?
what is he drinking? Man, that is orange juice, 100%.
I say it's high C.
No, it's orange juice. You know why? I can tell you.
Why?
Because this is typical in the Japanese McDonald meal.
They learn
so-
something new every day.
Yep. So they do a lot of the meals like just like America, obviously, right? But they do like small orange juice, milk, and all of that. So
Just ruined my childhood memory.
Big Mac, not high C. They don't do high C in
They don't
Japan.
It's too much sugar.
Yeah.
Only in America can you get all that sugar in a drink.
You know what's a really cool drink that is only exclusive in Japan that does not have it here? It's called melon soda. It's basically like it's greener than Mountain Dew. It's like pure.
But it's like pure milk. It's not coloring.
No, it's all pure coloring.
It's pure coloring.
Pure, like radiation green is how I describe it, right? Like it's as green as that button right there, right, guys?
Oh, that's not good. That's not a good
No,
thing.
but it's delicious. So it's great. Think of like Fanta, the coloring in Fanta,
Yeah,
just
but
green.
Just green.
Yeah, it's so delicious, man. And it's like everywhere in Japan, but you can't find them like over here.
Weird.
Yeah. So orange juice.
Orange juice.
But yeah, I think this card, people go crazy on it. I even heard I literally had a conversation with a customer at West Coast Car Show.
Okay.
And he was like, this is going to be the next Mongol Pikachu.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, that is a bold statement. I'll take your word up on it. Shout out to you. If you're right in 5-10 years, you'll be like, I was right.
That goes back to it, though. We talk about this card. Maybe it becomes next, but I can tell by the way, we both like that card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nothing about pumping. It's nothing about having value. I have no idea what that card's worth in PSA 10. It's just super cool.
It's not even shiny, man.
Yeah, it's not even shiny. It's just a cool card. And there's been millions of big McDonald promos. Like my kid will be like, let's go get the Pikachu or the Pokemon, kids meal. All right, whatever.
Yep.
They're all generic. But that is like the first, besides the 2002, the Squirtle, all those ones that are hot right now, those are awesome.
Yes.
But this is next level. It's
I
so
know.
cool. Just
It's
appreciation.
simple. It's universal, right?
Yeah.
Like, Pikachu just won a Big Mac, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I have. And I think this is fitting for this hobby right now that
Yeah.
everything pops. And if you guys seen, again, the news of how crazy people gone to length to get this,
It's insane.
I know somebody in Japan that wasn't even into Pokemon. The husband collected years ago, right? And when I visited and I told them that I started doing Pokemon, they look at me like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, oh, that's a niche hobby.
Yeah.
And then like a few months later, they're like, oh, I'm going to go to McDonald's and get a pack. They're like, oh, do you need me to get you one? I'm like, wow. Like this, like we live in our own little bubble, right? All the time.
Small world.
Right. But when you start seeing those global events of how individual people are all gravitating towards Pokemon right now, it just makes me think like, yeah, again, going back to the story of the day, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that bubble is popping anytime soon.
I don't think so.
Even if it pops, right? Like we talk about, it'll go up parabolically to like 200%. The worst this will drop is down to 120. You're still all gas, right? It's still all full throttle.
The days of $100 booster boxes are over.
I know.
All the Lost Origin that I would rip for $90 to $100. I think those days are over. But yeah, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I think Pokemon, it's going to live past you and I.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. 100%. Yeah. Down to my daughter. This card is going to be her wedding present. It's going to pay for the whole wedding, all of that, right? College fund, all that.
Yeah, all that stuff.
But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for spending another hour or so with us. Last thing, tell everybody how to get a hold of you on social media. Give them all the spiel, man.
TwoGunzCards, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We are at local shows all throughout California. Our next show will be at the Pasadena Front Row Card Show this weekend. I don't know when this is being filmed, so it might be a week ago. But you can find us on YouTube. That's where all of our long form content are. We also post all of our short form content there. You can find us on Instagram. Send us a DM. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all the support. Everyone that's been with me since the start. I love you guys. Appreciate you. Hey, everybody, TwoGunz here. We're on the TCG Table podcast. Let's go.
Thank you for that great outro there. You guys know who I am, Alan Lee, a.k.a. Pokemon Hero, the host of the TCG Table podcast. Thank you again for all your support. If you guys haven't already, please hit the subscribe, like, and leave us a comment. Positive, negative, talk about my forehead, talk about other things, talk about Pokemon, all things relevant. We are also on Spotify. I put every single episode on there so you can watch, you can listen in the car. So again, really appreciate you guys' support and looking forward to more future episodes. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.